Hey guys, your SP isn't just responding to your words, they're also responding to your self-concept. This video explores how your internal identity becomes the mirror that they reflect back to you, and how shifting your self-concept transforms their behavior towards you. So this was all part of my awakening, realizing that everything is a mirror, because it literally is. So your SP isn't reacting to your words, they're reflecting and responding back to your emotional blueprint, how you're feeling about yourself. Every belief you hold about love, worth, and identity, it becomes a mirror that they reflect back to you. So if you want them to show up differently, you don't chase, you shift, because when you become the version of you who's already chosen, then they have no choice but to reflect it back to you. So let's break it down. Everything really is a mirror, and your SP is not separate from you. They're reflecting your dominant beliefs about love, worth, and identity. So imagine you're on the flight deck of the C5 here. As we're sitting, we're actually under the wing presently. So imagine you're on the flight deck of your reality. Every switch you flip, every assumption you hold reflects instantly on the instruments in front of you. So if you assume your SP always pulls away, the flight deck, you'll experience turbulence, and the aircraft will respond to turbulence. You are emotionally responding to turbulence. But if you assume that your SP feels safe with you and is naturally drawn to you, everything stabilizes. Your SP's behavior is a reflection of your emotional altitude. And this is so fundamental and was all part of my awakening. So your inner conversations and your beliefs are like a radar feedback loop. And your subconscious is constantly pinging out emotional signals like radar pulses. And when you send out, "I'm not enough," the radar returns silence. But when you send, "I am magnetic and adored," the radar returns connection. So let's encapsulate this properly. Your SP isn't ignoring you. They're responding to the frequency that you're broadcasting. So you are a mirror. So I would like for you with me right now to picture a scene where you're standing in front of a mirror, but instead of your own face, I want you to imagine your SP's expression. If you're filled with doubt, their face will likely be looking distant. But if you're filled with certainty, their eyes soften and they're going to lean into you because you're magnetic. So they're not showing you who they are, they're showing you who you believe you are. So let's perform a self-concept inventory. I've talked about this before because I did this along my SP journey. So before SP can show up differently, you must show up differently for yourself. In one of my previous videos, I said that, show up for yourself. So before trying to change your SP's behavior, ask yourself, what version of you are they reflecting? So your SP is responding to your self-concept, or as Neville calls it, your concept of self, and it's not your words. So let's run a quick diagnostic, shall we? Think of it like checking your emotional flight instruments before takeoff. So ask yourself, do I feel chosen? If your inner dialogue sounds like they always choose someone else, or I'm never the one they commit to, then your SP is going to reflect that emotional scarcity, because you're really giving them their script, and sometimes you may not realize it. So it's time to shift the signal and reshape your assumption to, I am the one they've always felt drawn to, and that being chosen is my emotional baseline. So let's go. So it's like, oh, this is like flying without your transponder being on, or maybe it is on, and but it's not broadcasting properly because it hasn't been serviced. So that's what doing the self-concept inventory is about. You know, you got to service yourself and take care of you first and love you, you know, and so that you're pouring into you first and foremost. So when you change your inner conversations, your code to magnetic, they totally lock onto your signal. So let me ask you, like, in your day-to-day, when you think of your SP, do you expect consistency from them or chaos? So point being, if your assumptions sound like they're hot and cold, or they always pull away eventually, then you're broadcasting and you're assuming unpredictability. So that's not what you desire, right? So it's time to shift your assumptions, your signal that you're broadcasting to, they feel safe with me. Our connection is steady, grounded, and growing. So think of your SP as a plane responding to your emotional weather report. You know, if you expect storms, they can fly erratically, but if you expect clear skies and no winds, you know, they land with ease. So if you're feeling like things are bumpy, you know, today is your day for some emotional reprogramming. So, you know, rewiring the emotional script, you know, and your SP doesn't need convincing, they just need a new you to respond to. So I always use affirmations to help me along the way to reshape my assumptions. So affirmations will help you to reprogram your emotional identity. So the old script that I just said earlier, like they always pull away when things get close, or, you know, or you're not the one that's chosen, you know, let's make a new script today. Let's make it, they feel safe in my presence. My energy invites closeness and devotion. And if your old script says they don't see my worth, let's write the new one today. The new affirmation, I am their favorite experience. My presence is unforgettable, because it is. You're special, you're unique, and you're magnetic. So let's reflect the version of you that's already chosen. So let's deal with some of the old inner dialogue some more. Like, while looking in the mirror, you know, if you're ever thinking, I wonder if they're going to come back, if you're like in no contact. So let's reshape some new inner dialogue. Let's say, they're already on their way. I'm the version of me they've always loved. So while you're in front of the mirror, you know, look into your own eyes and say it slowly, you know, they're already on their way. I'm the version of me they've always loved. You know, let your gaze soften and relax and feel the truth, because your body is an emotional filter. And, you know, let yourself emotionally respond to that. So your SP doesn't need convincing. They need a new emotional script to respond to, and that script begins with you, your assumptions, your identity, and your emotional tone. So when you shift internally, your SP, you know, shifts like a jet stream catching new wind. So I want you to visualize and imagine your SP reaching out, texting, and showing up, expressing love. Pay attention to your inner conversations. They will show you where you are in your assumptions and what you need to work on. So comment below, what's one belief about yourself you're upgrading today? Let's reflect love together. And I hope that this helped you, and I love you guys, and I'll talk to you again in the next one. Bye for now.